In his speech on the evening of September 11, 2001, President Bush says,
"Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them."
Later in a press conference in mid-October, President Bush responds to a question on whether or not he plans to invade Iraq.
"This is a long war against terrorist activity. There's no question that the leader of Iraq is an evil man. After all, he gassed his own people. We know he's been developing nuclear weapons of mass destruction."
It was mainly these two statements, despite the lack of evidence to support them, that formed the basis of the Bush administration's case for an invasion of Iraq, and so begins our story.
Mr. Cheney, Mr. President, Mr. Rumsfeld,
Mr. President.
Mr. Powell,
Mr. President.
what are we all here to discuss today?
Mr. President, I believe we should go after Iraq. We've wanted to go after Saddam for a while now, and 9/11 gives us reason to do so.
What? Sir, Iraq is like a clay pot. By invading it, you're gonna break it. And once you break it, you own it. I believe that we should continue to attempt to keep Saddam in his box and refrain from the use of force.
Sir, I need to speak with you. We'll be right back. What's up, Dick? You will invade Iraq. I will invade Iraq. Sorry about that.
Sir, this is my chief CIA analyst, Ashley.
Iraq. I invade that.
Oh!
What? But sir, why?
Saddam Hussein has been harboring Al Qaeda. Ashley, bring me the evidence.
Well, sir, our thorough investigations have yet to find any cohesive evidence to support that claim.
Well, we're also invading because they have nuclear weapons of mass destruction, and we must remove them from Saddam Hussein's hands.
But, sir, investigations by the CIA and United Nations weapons inspectors have determined that Iraq possesses no weapons of mass destruction.
CIA evidence has been proven to be false and ineffective multiple times in the past. They failed to predict Iraq's invasion of Kuwait and completely missed Iraq's main nuclear weapons relevant factory in the 1990s. Bush, they've been wrong before. How do we know they're correct this time?
You're fired.
Sir, I have a DoD analyst that might have some input. Ah, there he is now.
Come here.
Find me some evidence that shows that Iraq is in bed with Al Qaeda and Bin Laden.
Mr. President, I have evidence that Iraq does in fact have WMDs and is supporting Al Qaeda.
Good job.
Well, Mr. President, the State Department has developed an extensively detailed plan, researched and compiled by hundreds of analysts and experts, for creating a stable interim government in Iraq after Saddam is taken out of power.
I'll take that. Sir, I have a much better idea.
I like this idea much better.
We will use this course of action.
Later at a press conference.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Saddam Hussein is a dictator whose government has been linked to Al Qaeda and is in possession of nuclear weapons of mass destruction. It is for these reasons that we will be deploying U.S. soldiers into Iraq on March 20th. You there.
But sir, what about the fact that inspections by UMOVIC and the IAEA did not find any evidence of or plausible indication that Iraq has resumed its WMD program?
Oh, they're there all right. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, but so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, but neither do we. Saddam better watch out. I will not be misunderestimated.
What do you think about the criticisms about an invasion of Iraq? As stated in the quote, it would be a U.S. occupation of Iraq. It's a very volatile part of the world. If you take down the central government in Iraq, you could easily see pieces of Iraq fly off. And how many dead Americans is Saddam worth?
That's ridiculous. What kind of idiot said that?
Mr. Cheney, when he was Secretary of Defense under your father.
Oh, I'm sure he was, just mistaken. Next question. You.
What about the fact that many countries are opposed to an invasion of Iraq and believe it violates a UN charter, including 10 other NATO members?
I believe in this course of action, Jim. I know what I believe. I will continue to articulate what I believe, and what I believe is what I believe is right. You.
It is about the oil, isn't it?
What? No, of course not.
Later, in a press conference on May 1st, 2003.
We got him. We got Saddam Hussein. Major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed. You.
Mr. President, the post-invasion investigation determined that there were no WMDs in Iraq, and there is no link between the Iraqi government and Al-Qaeda, which were the primary reasons for the invasion. What do you have to say about these?
Those weapons of mass destruction have got to be there somewhere. I swear it. Besides, really? Those weren't our main reasons for invading Iraq. Hussein violated the human rights of his people and had to be removed from power in order to allow the Iraqi people to have a democratic government.
But sir, due to Hussein's removal from power, there is no ruling government establishment to keep order, and there's widespread looting, crime, and chaos.
It's all right. We are sending in troops to control the situation.
But that means that our troops are stuck there, potentially for multiple years.
That's preposterous. I'm sure I'll have all U.S. soldiers out of Iraq soon. I promise.